Back again, and now we're going to move on to more about the maintenance area, or the databases as they're called. And previously we left off by talking about the user file and buildings and districts and how they're all related. So I thought we would take a look at the title area, and this is where a new title is entered. And as you see, uh, it has populated the screen with the information we had up previously. So again, the form has some of the similar icons. That format is followed throughout the system, and the field in this particular record, the field layout, again, is basically a general layout. If yours is different and you require additional fields or fewer fields or need them to be labeled differently, well, adding and changing the fields around usually involves help from us. Not all the time, from the company. Relabeling is something it's a feature that's available for you if you'd like to utilize it. But for now, we're just going to leave it the way it is, and I'll go through that record layout real quickly. Title number, and there's the barcode. Well, if I put it into that mode, it would show a different number. And then there's the title. See, it's a very long field, contain a lot of information. The producer codes go in here, but you can look them up by name. Vendor, same idea. Number, look them up by name. Media type, and you see there's plenty to select from. Of course, you can add others. Year produced, how much you paid for it. The level, in other words, grade level. Expiration, if it's something that you only have the rights to for X amount of time, you enter it in that field, and then when it hits that date, you can't use it anymore. This is if you use guide materials with it, and it would end up on the order screen as well. Type, if it happens to be, this is held over from the old 16 millimeter days, of course. Length, same idea, but it could be runtime as well. And copies, so you can put in the maximum number of copies that will go with it. Copies actually equals a print, so you can add that, so you can't add any more copies if you're, again, restricted to the number that you're able to have. Reels, hold over again from the old days. Special field, you can put any value in there you want. It's a custom field. Value, we covered that period. That's circulation period. We talked about that earlier, that you put a value in there, and that's how long it would be circulated for, which that period is defined elsewhere. Fund is what you purchased it through, what funding source. That's great for reporting. Then you'll notice is where the subjects would end up, and then the annotation record, etc. Over to the right, again, the handy reference instead of going back out to the maintenance menu. The areas that are associated with the title are catalog, series, inventory. Those are the copies. This is the part of the information seen online. Series is just what it implies, series. So, it says here we have one print, so that's good. Now, if data was being converted, or, well, start with that. If we were converting existing data, it would already just be available when the system was set up. Then if you import data either on a 1C basis or bulk imports of any information that you're storing locally, it would, of course, the system is equipped to handle that as well. But the basic idea here was if you were keying in a new entry. So if I was going to do that, first thing I would do is say, here, I want to enter a new title, and then you just follow the steps from there. And we'll get into that in more detail shortly. take you over to the catalog area. And so here's the catalog information for this particular title. And you'll notice that also you can have alternate titles. So this is handy if the item is busy, it's very popular. When you initially set it up, you can put in some others that are like it, and so the prompts the user when they're doing bookings, etc. Let's see what else in here. So the key information here, of course, is the abstract or the annotation that describes it, and this is what, again, what shows up in the catalog. And of course you can put in, if it's a book, the author, Dewey number if you're using that numbering scheme, Library of Congress number. Then the subjects go down here, and again they pull up from a list, and you search by topic or by subject. Then these 8 fields, first 4 URLs, next 4 web, really have similar functionality. Basically what happens here, if this was a digital item that you were adding to your collection to keep it locally, one of these fields would you'd enter the pointer, if you, for lack of a better way to describe it, to the actual video itself on a video server. The point is, once it's entered in here, it shows up in the catalog as a link, usually as an icon that shows like it says streaming video or something of that nature. And all the patron has to do is click on it, and they will start streaming. More about that later. Then move on to the inventory. These are where all the copies reside. And so you have, again, there's a title number, and then each item has a barcode number, its own individual unique number, which is right here, and that also will equate to a barcode number as well. And it tells me that there's an active copy or print, which means it's still, can be used for circulation. Here's the date it was added, and the shelf number. First of all, real quick, it shows that it's copy A. That could also say copy 1, so you're not locked into some particular convention there. Status is in. The due date, if it was out, would be right here. So you can look these things up as soon as you're right. If you see this information, you can. If you notice it says due date, if you wanted to see who had it, you could look at it real quick. Shipments year to date are shown here. Total uses as well. Then of course the shelf number, the price you paid for the copy, date added, purchase terms, remarks, base really has to do if it's a film, again, holdover from the old days. Model number if it's a piece of equipment, property number, same idea. Here are the groups. So this particular copy is only available to the JAC group. Again, this is just for demonstration purposes. So if you're part of that group, you could use this copy or this copy of this title. So, and if you want to add more copies, easy to do. It says we have 1 print, so if I wanted to add additional, I would go over here. It says enter the number of new copies you want to add in the box. Let's say I want to add 50 more copies. I hit the plus sign, and it advises me that I'm doing this, and I say okay. And short time later, you'll notice it says you see the copy letters here have already changed, and here we go. We have 51 copies. It was that quick. So if I wanted to put a couple hundred copies in or 1,000, I could have done that as well. So we've been through the title area, we've been through the catalog area, we're in the inventory area. I'm going to skip the series because that's just if this was part of a series, and I don't believe it is, but I'm going to go to status just so you can see what we're talking about here. So it told me earlier that this item was in. But if it said it was out, I might have gone to main status, so you can see what's happening with it. If it weren't, and what would its status be? So it could also have been withdrawn, lost, damaged, etc. So this is what the it would tell me where, it would tell me all that information right here of this particular copy. So that's how that works. So we're going to go back over to title maintenance, and again, as I said earlier, the information you've been working with remains active, so you don't have to worry about losing it. So that's how all that information is added to the system. Now we're going to pause, and when we come back, I'm going to try to demonstrate the import feature, lookup of MARC records, lookup of titles using the MARC record lookup, and then importing those MARC records. So we'll take a pause here.